No, Bucky is kind of one of those characters for me, though.
You
that
had better watch your next words. You had better watch your mouth, Missy.
Okay.
I have a fish that it's my rescue fish, and you said
Who rescued who, though?
And that made me laugh really hard.
And we didn't record it. I'm so sad.
And I talked about how the driftwood that I bought it from the store took a couple days to sink and like bleached color into the water, so it's like fucking brown poop water looking now.
And, so you just have like a shit aquarium just in your office.
It's just fucking brown. It's embarrassing, honestly.
But why did you take the fish in the first place? You should say.
So my dad's longtime tenant was being not evicted. They were selling their house and moving back into this house, which was my childhood house. And the guy that had lived there, he was like, "Hey, sorry, we're actually going to be moving back, so you got to go." And this particular fella has been like a longtime family friend and had a shit ton of snakes. Like,
that's right, he was the snake guy.
Snakes. Yeah. And he also had this fish tank, and he had this fish, which is a Placo, and he had, I think, 2 other fish. And he said the other 2 fish, like, disappeared. Like, he didn't find them dead or anything like that. He said they just disappeared.
What?
And yeah, I don't know how
Do you
that
think
happens.
the snake got them? One of the snake got them?
I have no idea.
That's a horrible vision. Just imagine seeing your fish tank and just a snake in there, just chilling.
So, but there was this fish left, which he said he was like, "Oh, I got it, to help control algae in the tank." And this particular like breed of Placo is not really a great algae eater. They pretty much eat driftwood, and algae is like a secondary thing that they eat. So of course he wasn't doing a very good job controlling the algae in the tank. And he's very small. He's like maybe like this long, and he's fucking ugly. He's turd brown.
Aww. But he was gonna
2 little beady eyes. But he was gonna he was moving out of the house and was like, "I don't want this fish. This isn't the fish that I even really like got the fish tank for. I'm just gonna toss him in the pond out back of my work." And my stepmom was like, no, we can't let that happen. And then she texted me and said, "Do you want a fish?" And I said, well, no, actually, she said, "Do you want a fish tank?" And I said, "Yeah, sure." And she said, "Comes with a fish." And I said, "Oh, okay, sure."
That's brilliant. That's genius.
Do you want a fish tank? Side note, comes with a fish.
Brilliant. Genius.
So I went over there and I got him all set up in here, and I named him Taco because I got him on Taco Tuesday, and we went and ate tacos that day. And then I got him a little taco, like a little acrylic taco that is sitting in there.
You're so
to hide in. He's got a Mexican restaurant themed fish tank here. There's a llama pinata in there, and also a cactus. Once I like properly clean it and make the water not look like shit water, I'll show you.
Your shit aquarium. Yeah.
I need to because that's the thing, you can't change out all the water at once. So even if I drain like some of this, I have to refill and wait another week, and it's just gonna like slowly die down in color. So it's not something you can like fix in one day.
Yeah.
But yeah,
that's so compassionate of you, though. So that's the story of your rescue fish.
He's this big. He's like 2 inches long at max.
That's so sweet. But
that's a turtle snack.
But what did you say? You were like, I'm kind of just
I'm kind of waiting for him to die. He's, I mean, realistically,
so compassionate.
I'm gonna give him the best rest of his fish life.
No, it's just, that's what I mean. It's like, that's so compassionate that you're like, I mean, death is imminent for him, but you just don't want him to. That's very compassionate.
I don't want him to like suffer, but also I don't really want him. It's fine. I'll take care of it. It's cool. The fish tank is nice to hear. It's
like running water is like nice sometimes. Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
But once he
that's
goes,
so
I'm gonna
you.
get some sort of lizard or something.
Really? Like a
That I'd be
gecko?
more excited about.
Oh, a gecko just hanging out on the
I
pod,
would,
just like
well,
on your
Gizmo
shoulder.
would eat it.
Oh, you can't get
I
a
could just go outside
lizard.
and get a gecko if I wanted a gecko in my house. It happens
You mean you
twice
don't
a
want
week.
to go to the pet store and pay $59.99 for
Right.
a gecko?
For a green anole that I could go outside and catch.
No, I mean one of those cool ones that like kind of move slow and almost look like albino-y. You know what I'm talking about?
Oh, you're talking about like actual proper geckos. Got
Like
it.
a real
Yeah.
one.
No, I have those too out in my yard.
Okay. Really?
Every couple of days, I'll find like a little tiny baby gecko, and I'm like, "Excuse me, you can't live in here."
Wow. Dude,
The spiders I let live in here because the cats aren't gonna fuck with the spiders, but the
let's
geckos gotta go.
I
I
want to
can't.
add that to our list because I want to talk about, and maybe this can be for one of our presentation ones, but it's like the pet selling industry, like specifically like the pet store culture. You know what I mean?
Yeah,
Not so much like
it's not the
dogs and
same
shit.
geckos really that they sell like in the
Yeah,
pet
yeah.
store. Those are like larger
But
and hardier,
still,
but like I
like
genuinely
flipping pets,
twice
crazy.
a week have a gecko in my house that I have a specific gecko catching cup
Hmm.
that I will take, and I find a piece of paper, like an old piece of mail or whatever, and I
Yeah.
have to go and I have to put it over them. Last week, I went to do that, and the one that I was trying to catch, I accidentally pinched his tail, and he fucking dropped his tail in the cup. And I said, "Motherfucker, I don't want that. I don't want that." And his tail is just fucking wiggling
No.
in the bottom of the cup, and I'm like, "That's nasty."
No, he like just ew, like his like it
That's their
chopped
defense
off.
mechanism.
Right.
They let it go. I pinched the end of his tail and he let that entire motherfucker go into the cup. That's their defense technique. They let their tail go so that the predator is like
Interesting.
interested, or if they're being caught by the tail, they can let that go and they can go and the tail will grow back. Did you not see the second Amazing Spider-Man movie?
Um
That was like the entire
Oh,
plot.
yes, the Andrew Garfield ones.
Yeah, the doctor was like,
Yes, he
the
was like a
lizards can
lizard.
regrow their tails, and that was the whole plot, is that he wanted to make people lizard people so that they could regrow their limbs.
Lizard people. That oh yeah, it was coming from like a good place of like helping people regenerate and like have
Yeah,
mobility
but then
again
he
and like
wanted to make everybody lizard people like him.
what a weird those okay, you know what's crazy about those movies? The director of all those movies I believe is this guy named Mark Webb and he
Did
was
you just hear Bubba sneeze? Because I
I
can see
yeah.
the noise bit where he sneezed.
Like
You're
the
gonna have to cut
spike.
that out. Yeah,
Okay, the spike. Okay,
sorry.
wait. Amazing Spider-Man. Let me just Google this really quick. But the director of those movies, yes, Mark Webb, was also the director of the new Snow White that's coming out, the live action one. He's
Is
done
there
that.
another
But
one?
also 500 Days of Summer, which for me
Okay.
is so confusing. Like because 500 Days of Summer is like one of my favorite movies. I think it's one of the best movies of like the 2000s and I love Zoe Deschanel. I just think it's great. I can watch it a million times. I think like it's a
Mm-hmm.
beautiful story. And the Spider-Man movies were just such a different thing and then like Snow White feels like I don't know what Snow White's gonna be like, but I mean it's gonna have the Disney like veneer.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't know, for whatever reason that just doesn't sit well with me. I'm like, how is the same director of Snow White and Spider-Man also the guy who made 500 Days of Summer? It just feels so different. Like it feels like such an indie original cool story. And I didn't like those Spider-Man, that genre of Spider-Man that much. Sorry, Andrew Garfield. I love Andrew Garfield
Oh,
though. One of
I
my
like them.
favorite. You like them?
Yeah. I was sad he didn't get a third one. I thought he did a good job. Tom Holland, I know this is going to piss people off. Sorry, not sorry. My opinion is I think that the Tobey Maguire
Oh,
was good. I think the Andrew Garfield was good, but I think Tom Holland was the best Spider-Man. Like,
no,
I
that's
think
not gonna
he.
piss people off. I think people agree. Like,
Oh no no no! People, especially
really?
Nick, has holds
People
the
by people you mean Nick.
very strong opinion that the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man is the best Spider-Man, and I'm like, yeah,
Mm.
it's the
Huh.
most
What do you think,
nostalgic
Bella?
Spider-Man for sure. But like if we're going with like the OG like Peter Parker story where he's like
Mhm.
a high school kid,
Yeah. It
Tom
depends what
Holland played the
you're.
best high school
Yeah,
kid. Like Tobey Maguire was like college kid. Andrew
yeah,
Garfield was way too old at that point to be playing a high school kid. And then Tom Holland like
exactly.
actually looked like a baby child
Yeah, no,
playing that character. And he played it so like
like
goofy and perfect.
youthfully and
Yes,
goofily.
he did
Yeah.
a really, really good job.
Let me just tighten this mic here. I would agree with you if the metric is how far or close away the performance is to like the original Marvel comic.
Yeah.
Then yes, like I agree with you. I think from the nostalgia bit and just like the I don't know, it's just like the first one's just so classic. There's so many like moments in it that just feel like a part of our culture. But yeah, Toby Maguire. I think yeah, I didn't think that the Andrew Garfield ones were like that good necessarily. Like holistically, I thought his performance was good. But yeah, I agree. I mean, Tom Holland, there was just something so warm and like lovable and
Yeah.
inviting about his like performance and like when because his first appearance was in that one Marvel movie, right? It was like Civil War, right? That's like the first thing you
Yes.
see and
Yeah.
you
He
hear it
was
in the
in.
voice.
Well, so
Or was that
I think the
overlapped with
first,
Homecoming?
like, Homecoming was first. Or
Okay.
no. Yeah. Homecoming was the first one, right?
Of that series, but I don't know was
Homecoming,
it of the
Far
timeline
From
because
Home, No Way Home. Yes. So
what
Homecoming was technically first in the storyline.
okay.
I think. No. Was it?
Because I remember like a few years ago, I watched all the Marvel movies like in order, like in the right order, whatever it was,
Let me
rather than
Google it.
in the like not in the year order, but in the like
Yeah, in the
production order.
mhm.
Or, you know,
Oh, in the way that they came out or the way that they're intentionally or
it was the
intended to be
intentional
watched?
one. Like it
Okay.
was like the intended to be watched way. And that was a great experience. We would do one like every night and then it would just feel like, "Oh wow, this is great," and catching up and I'm trying to remember. I just remember I think I thought that the first time I remember seeing Tom Holland was in the Civil War and it's like his voice even, like his voice is just perfect. And I know it was like
Yeah.
I'm glad that they made the choice because I remember Timothy Chalamet was also I guess he was also in like the sort of final rounds for casting on that. He's talked
I
about that.
can't
There were
see that. Yeah.
I know. I think, I'm so happy for him. I'm sure that it was such a sad thing because at the time of his career, like that was probably the biggest franchise that was like on the
Yeah, for
table for
sure.
him. But I think he did the right choice by doing more of like the kind of brooding kind of indie
Mhm.
character. And then obviously Dune was like,
Yeah.
was meant to be for him.
I just
But
looked it up. Yes, Civil War was the first one that he was in, and yeah, he was so
yeah.
teeny tiny in that.
He was like teeny tiny and like you don't even see his face. You just see like Spider-Man and you're like, "What?" And it just like you registered and you're like, "Oh my god, it's Spider-Man." And like the voice cuz I think you just I don't even think you see his face in that
You
movie
do.
at
He
the end.
walks into
Oh, it's
Aunt
at the
May
end, right?
and
Yeah. That it's like the first
Iron
frame.
Man.
That's like the first frame of him in Civil War.
Him versus Bucky and
A Captain America?
yeah, him versus Bucky and Falcon, Winter Soldier and Falcon, is the funniest scene on planet Earth. You can see the moment that Bucky realizes he is like battling a literal teenager. You can see it register on his face, like this is a child,
I'm trying to
and
think of
just the
when that
shock and
was.
awe for him.
I'm trying to remember when that like I remember Winter Soldier. I don't remember the Spider-Man stuff, but I know he was in it. Maybe I should pull
Gizmo,
that up.
please.
Winter Soldier was good. Bucky is kind of one of those characters for me though
You
that
had
I
better
like.
watch your next words. You had better watch your mouth, Missy.
Okay. Okay. I'm just like
This is an
I
old western moment where I have my hand
on the pistol.
my pistol is
But
unstrapped. I'm ready to yank that motherfucker out, bitch. You better watch your words. That's my man.
oh my god, no, I know that you love him. I know, I promise. I'm respectfully, I'm like what is okay, backing up. In terms of the service that his character like does for the plot. Just thinking about that, okay?
Mm-hmm.
Did he okay, spoiler alert. So if you don't know what we're talking about, just I don't know what to tell you. He was the one that killed the parents
Yes.
of
Yes.
of
Iron Man.
Iron Man.
Mm-hmm.
And he was just like a robot doing that though, right? It
Yes,
was
he was
like
under extreme mind control at the
right.
time.
I am personally was not able to recover from that knowledge in any like redeemable sense. Like to me, it would never be feasible then from that point on that him and Iron Man were like ever amicable or whatever. So
Oh,
that
they're
was
not.
just,
Really, they're not.
but like, don't they coexist? In
They
a,
fight on the same team at like the
right?
very end, but
Yes,
that's like them against Thanos.
I
Like,
know, but I just don't, and that I
and they
didn't
never
like
fight side
how.
by side for that. The entire end of the battle, Iron Man is on a fucking different planet,
I think that was it. I think I don't like
and
how.
Bucky's in Wakanda.
Yes. I
They're
don't
never
like
like
how
actually
that
fighting
was, though.
together after that
I
point.
just don't like that they had this open wound, basically, like, that Marvel has this open wound, and that they never address. I'm like, "What was the point of that? Why couldn't we have just not politicized his parents' death?" Like, the central/defining slash defining trauma of his life, it's like they're all on the same football team though, you know? And I was just like, that's just weird. Like why? So maybe it's nothing about his performance, and I think he does it like they ultimately like
Well, I
somewhat redeem
think
him, but he's kind of irredeemable to me. Like that's just like
I don't think
Iron
so because in my opinion, in my very correct opinion, um, like yes, he technically like committed that act, but he literally had no choice. It's not like he was like, yeah, okay, fine, I'll do it. It's not like there was even a matter of choice. He had been brainwashed
Yeah.
and tortured and abused
Right.
by this
Right.
company for so many years. I mean, for literally at that point, that was the 90s, and he was taken prisoner in the 40s. So it had
Right.
been
Similar to like
50
the Iron
years of
Captain
him.
America thing,
Yeah,
right?
yeah, exactly. He was taken captive in the 40s, and this was the late 90s that he
Mhm.
killed Iron Man's parents. So it literally is
Yeah.
like 50 years later that he's been brainwashed this entire time. He's had no choice. That arm in particular that he had been outfitted with was heavy and uncomfortable. And you can see like the way that it's attached to his skin is just like uncomfortable and looks inflamed and bothersome all the time. So you just know that he was kept in constant pain and he had
Yeah.
no choice in the matter. And
Right.
so for me, I separate, like, yes, it's in that same body, but those characters, like the Winter Soldier and Bucky, are
Mhm.
different people in my mind, you know?
Interesting. What do you feel like Captain America feels? Like, do you think he felt similarly?
Steve Rogers can eat my whole fucking ass, bro. Steve
In
Rogers
a
up
good way or a
until,
bad way? Damn, girl.
no, in a bad way, motherfucker. Listen, my very good friend Courtney knows exactly how I feel about Steve because she is a Steve girl and I am a Bucky girl.
Wait, what's wrong with
And
Steve?
at
What?
the end, at the very end,
Yeah,
he puts his life on the line for Bucky
right,
and is
right.
like, come back, like we'll, like I'll help you through this whole thing. We're going to get you better. We're going to, get you off to Wakanda, get that new arm, make sure we're clear of all of that like brainwashing, everything like that. I'm going to help you
Yeah.
through your trauma. Oh, actually, I left my girlfriend back in the 40s, so I'm going to go back in time and live with her. So, hope you're okay,
But,
but
like,
I'm going to dip now. And he fucking leaves Bucky to
wow.
figure out the 2020s by his fucking lonesome. Steve was
Aw.
the only person who ever believed in him, and he fucking dipped and then died. without saying a
Yeah.
word to Bucky.
What if they had like a private offline conversation that wasn't
But they
filmed?
didn't, because he watches him like go back in time to go put that stone back. And then he turns around and old man Steve is on the bench. And old man Steve relinquishes his
Oh,
shield to
the Anthony Mackie
Sam,
character. Yeah.
um, and says, like, this is yours, which is problematic in and of itself, but they discuss that in Falcon and the Winter Soldier, which I thought was such a good show. But then he's like, hey, Buck, hope you figure shit out from now on, because you're not going to have my help. And you and
That
this
is
guy fight all the
sad.
time.
Yeah, it's sad that, like, there wasn't really close like, their whole relationship is just sad. Like, they're
Yeah.
friends. He's, like, obviously, he loses his friend, like, early on, like, through just, like, separation and then
Mm-hmm.
not knowing, and then sees him, right, and is like, "What the fuck?" Like, holy shit, like, Captain America comes back
Mm-hmm.
to life, I guess, in a way, and sort of a similar thing happens to Bucky, but worse. He's, like, tortured and whatever. And then they, like, kind of have a reconciliation, and then it's like, "Bye again."
Yeah, literally. He's been back for like 2.5 seconds.
But would
And
you
then,
rather them have a reconciliation and then him not go back to what's her name? Patty? Patty?
yes.
We are not the same, girl. I was, like, hurting after the first was it the first Captain America where he, like, gets frozen and shit into the ice or
Yeah,
whatever?
yeah. I mean, listen, Peggy dying was sad and everything, but like,
Peggy, that's her
and that's
name.
the thing, is we watch her die with
Aw,
young Steve right there. And she didn't
no.
say shit about actually getting to spend the last 50 years or
I
so with him or
know. I
whatever.
know. They
Like,
they really messed with time on that one to make that work, and I was like, "You know what? Alright, we'll give it to you." Because that also was,
which
like,
makes it
another
even
open
weirder
wound.
because if you think about it, like, Steve, so, given the knowledge that we have now that he went back in time to be with Peggy and had children with her, and then Peggy's sister had, uh, fuck, what's her name?
The do the blonde girl that he was,
Yes.
like, kissed who kissed or whatever.
And then, yeah, I'm like, that's her uncle.
Lol. Lol. Wait, are we sure it's Peggy's sister?
She calls her Aunt Peggy. Like, that's her
I forgot
biological
about that. Oh my god, ew.
niece.
Wait, I okay, at the time, I remembered this, now it's so fuzzy. But how did nah, I don't wanna get into it. It worked. I'm just I don't wanna get into it.
There's
Marvel
so
just, like,
much to dig into.
created
We
time.
need 4 episodes on
Yeah,
like
they invented
Marvel.
time. Dude,
Yeah.
I'd be happy to do some Marvel stuff, dude. I got pretty deep in there. After, like, Ant-Man I loved, the last Marvel show I loved was the show with Elizabeth Olsen, the TV show. What was it?
Oh,
Oh god, what's her name? WandaVision.
WandaVision.
I
Yeah, that
actually
was a good show.
loved that show, and initially was like, "What are they
What's
doing?"
happening? Yeah.
The first episode was like,
It made no
"What
sense
is
until like
happening?"
episode 8, and then you were like, oh,
Oh, yeah, and I'm glad I stuck out because it was actually one of the better shows.
yeah.
I'm so sad about her and Vision, though. That was hard.
I think
Still
he's
is
getting his
hard.
own show or movie or something.
Yeah, he's getting something, and I hope that there's some reconciliation. The thing with Marvel is, like, they break your heart and then they leave you high and dry for, like, 4 years
I
and then
am
fix it, and you're like, "Thanks, I already had
otherworld.
therapy.
Yeah. I've already discussed this with my therapist. If
I've
you could
already
just leave
figured
the
this out."
the storyline closed for me, please. I don't want to have to process any new trauma with
Yeah,
this.
exactly.
No, I am like otherworldly, beyond motherfucking excited for the new Daredevil series to come out. So initially, Disney was revamping this, and they were like, "Oh, this is gonna be new. We're nixing like the first 3 seasons are not canon, whatever, whatever." And they had written and recorded the majority of this new season, and then somebody somewhere, God bless them, if I could give them 1,000 little tiny pecks on the face, I would, because they convinced somebody in Disney to nix that entire storyline and go, hey, this is actually going to be a continuation. This is like basically season 4. We're recasting the same people from the original Netflix series, and we are just going to write this
Oh.
like the next season where we left off, basically.
Where does
So
the Daredevil guy come in again? Was it Winter Soldier? That was the first time we saw him?
no, he was in the Spider-Man movie. He was in the last Spider-Man movie.
Yes.
He was the
Yes.
lawyer that came in. Matt
They
Murdock,
Yep,
the
yep,
Lommel, love of my life.
yep.
God bless
Okay,
him.
so then Matt Murdock is a character in the Marvel universe, and he's had his own show. It's called Daredevil, and so now you're
Yes.
saying that they
Yes.
just made up a bunch of shit, and then all of a sudden we're like, actually, we're
Yeah, so
gonna.
when Disney bought Marvel and everything, they were like, "Oh, we're going to do Daredevil Born Again and it's going to be like a new version of that." And then they cast Charlie Cox who plays Matt Murdock in that Spider-Man movie and we were all like, "Oh, fuck yes. Like he's back." And then they were like, "Actually, he's the only one that's going to be the same and everyone else is pretty much going to be different." And we were like, "No, no, 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 no. We need the whole original cast
So
back."
there was a show on Netflix,
It was a
okay,
Netflix original series. It had
and it was
3
also called
seasons and a
Daredevil.
spin-off that was supposed to be in between season 3 and 4. And and basically this or there was so it was Daredevil season 1 2 The Defenders and then Daredevil season 3 and this is going to be like Daredevil season 4 and we're getting John Bernthal as the Punisher back. We're getting
Ooh,
Vincent
Punisher.
D'Onofrio as Kingpin who was in the show with he was in Echo recently and he was in Hawkeye. So we've gotten like 2 little like tidbits of him there and then Charlie Cox was Daredevil in the She-Hulk show and in Echo as well. And so gotten like little snippets here and there of it. But
Mhm.
then there was behind the scenes released with Bullseye is back. We've got Karen back as her original actress Deborah Wool.
Karen.
And then we've got Foggy with oh fuck, I can't remember that guy's name.
Wait,
Sorry,
wait.
you.
Karen,
He's
which
just Foggy.
Karen? I just got confused. I just did Guardians of the Galaxy Karen. It's not that
No,
Karen.
not Karen Gillan. Karen is the character's name.
Karen's the character's name in
Karen Page is the
Daredevil.
character's name. She's played by Deborah Ann Wool. And then
Okay,
Foggy
girl.
Nelson,
Oh, she's
the
cute.
other Lommel, love my life. I think of the Daredevil show and those two characters as like Matt Murdock would be a terrible, terrible boyfriend, but a hot boyfriend, and
Yeah.
Foggy would be not quite as hot, but a wonderful boyfriend, a
You need
wonderful
that
husband.
foil, though. You need that foil for like the two, right? It's like
Yep.
the
You need the one that's like just crazy and hot, and then you need the
yeah.
one that's like
Yeah.
hot and normal and
Yeah,
like
that's
a
Carmi
regular
and
person.
Richie.
Yeah.
Like Carmi
Yeah.
and Richie.
Wait,
Uh,
which one's the normal one in that situation?
yeah, they're both. I mean, I think Carmi's like slightly more normal, but yeah, it's
I don't know.
not normal's maybe not the best word to use, but it's like
Yeah.
or you need one person that we see their point of view and we
Honey, I
empathize with.
think that I think you have this a little bit wrong. Carmi and Richie are the same. Marcus is the normal one. Fack is the normal
Oh,
one. Okay. If we're talking
fact.
about that
That's
sort of
fair. So it's like
demographic,
a doubled
Carmi
up
and Richie are
foil.
in the same side of the Venn diagram here.
Yeah,
Okay.
they're a little cuckoo, a little crazy.
Yeah. They're
Wait, I
not
was gonna
normal.
say something about Daredevil. I feel like when I started watching it, I think with you maybe, or you like had it on when we were eating those delicious things you made, the
Oh,
impossible
the
spring
cheeseburger spring
rolls,
roll.
cheeseburger spring rolls, which girl, we gotta take two on that. We gotta hit that
Oh,
up.
I can make those for you when we're
Yes,
together. I can make them
absolutely.
for the crowd, for the group,
For the group, for the gals, for the
for the
ladies.
girls.
Those are so good. But I was like, it's giving the production is giving CW though. That's all I'm
Yeah,
gonna say.
yeah. But I mean, I grew up on that shit, so
I know that's why when I watched it, I was like, I know why you like this. This feels like it could
this
have
looks like
been
Smallville. Looks like
Smallville.
Arrow.
Literally, we just said that at the same time. It could have been, yeah, dude. Smallville,
Oh,
small fucking ville. That was
talk
just.
about another like childhood crush that like
Mm,
there's a few childhood crushes that I had that were like literally like you could draw a straight fucking line between my childhood crushes and my husband. And like
wait,
Tom
I'm gonna
Welling was
pull
one of
this
those.
up. Tom
Looking at
Welling,
Clark Kent
baby.
as like Tom Welling as Clark Kent and just being like
Mm-hmm.
tall, broad, dark-haired guy.
Oh wow, he's
And
aged
you just
well,
look
girl. He's
oh yeah,
aged
he's aged
well.
really well. But like you look at that guy like circa 2006 and it's like, yeah, that looked like Nick when we got together. And then
Yeah.
same thing with
Oh,
JT Woodruff, the lead singer of Hawthorne Heights. Like you take that
yeah.
and you look at Nick when we got together and it's like that's the same fucking person.
Well, thanks for hanging
Mhm.
out with us today, guys, on the Kindred Spirits Club podcast. As always, we love just talking some May and hanging out.
Well, thanks for joining us for the Kindred Spirits Club. We hope you enjoyed. We sure did.
Artlist.io